Hey everyone, I'm AG.
I'm IJ. You almost said my name, didn't you?
I almost said AJ, and I'm like, which one of the names was I supposed to say first?
Oh, yeah.
I just woke up.
Can we just skip the first 2 episodes and go straight to Logtown?
No, we can't. We actually have to talk.
We even watched them and everything. Like, I knew these 2 episodes would be bad. My goodness. They were bad, and not even the offensive bad. They were like the worst kind of bad.
I named that wrong. I need to go back and fix that.
No.
So I was actually getting worried about this part.
I thought that these kind of shenanigans would last all 5 of these episodes.
Like we said,
thankfully they didn't.
Like we said earlier, there's supposed to be 1 platinum and 1 stone for each arc. The stone, which is completely optional, just like the platinum.
Like, we should not be looking at.
It's supposed to be the one worst episode of the series, and I gave my stone to one of these episodes, which is sad because I love the Lowtown arc. I have to basically preface this. I have seen the Lowtown episodes more than any other part of the series.
Yeah, I think everybody has. They're just such.
And there was a platinum contender in these five sets of episodes with my stone episode.
Like, so I think the episode you're talking about was especially good because it came after the stones, and it was like, it would have been a run-of-the-mill high silver if it had been with the others.
Stacy,
I gave it a gold though, so.
So
I gave it a gold. I think I know which episode you're talking about.
We're gonna lump episodes 46 and 47 into one batch.
You don't want to talk about the bird and Captain Richie and Alvida?
You know, they don't actually state her name.
It's obviously.
No, they do not state her name. So basically what happens is episode 46 starts out with showing the crew's normal day. And as you see through these 2 episodes,
couldn't we have just stayed on them?
You basically see their life on a normal day at sea, because between islands it's kind of boring.
Yeah, and that they're just taking care of stuff, and Luffy is actually raising the anchor himself.
Well, there are 2 ways to raise an anchor, either by the chain or by actually cranking it up so it locks into place. And
when it's by the chain, you basically have Zoro do it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we cut over to Buggy.
I have written, uh-oh, it's Buggy. Boo!
So, to basically summarize this entire episode of what goes on, Buggy gets chased around by a giant bird. He then gets launched into the air, in which he lands on, the island of hybrid animals. Of misfit animals.
Of misfit plot contrivances, you mean?
Yeah.
All that this episode was?
There is actually a really great moment where Luffy is basically sitting on deck of the ship as basically Buggy's flying over the ship. Not sure how they got so close to either of those islands.
Did they travel back?
I don't know. That's the thing. And he's basically just saying there was
especially when they were near the
that? It sounded like a filler plot line just went by. I was like, oh, okay.
Let's ignore it. I didn't hear anything.
Because he lands on the island, he has to interact with Gaiman, who immediately tries to shoot him.
Because he thinks he is a poacher. And because of Buggy's luck...
11:48 in the episode, there's the bird again, in all of his glory, as this episode goes on, and it's like, huh.
I have to agree with your note right there. A fight happened, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. And then the very next note is 5 minutes later and then they drank over a mutual profession.
Yeah, in my notes it says, this episode is so garbage I can eat teriyaki rice and still understand what's going on. When we're watching it subbed.
Yeah.
That's how bad this episode is. I'm not paying attention,
So
and by the tone of their voice, I can understand what's going on.
The only real interesting part of the episode is, well, one, a giant enemy crab shows up, and then a mysterious pirate woman shoots it in its weak point for massive damage. That's probably the only real...
It's the thing that I have saved in big fat air quotes, because there's no saving this episode from being a good episode. It just kept it from getting worse. If I had to watch Buggy ride off, like sail off into the sunset, because he's still small Buggy at this point, so they were able to keep the continuity of it. Just wish they hadn't.
Here's the thing, though. Over the course of the episode, you see this hermit crab traveling across the banister of the ship, and at the very end of the episode, the hermit crab falls off the side of the ship, and it makes it like this big moment, and it's like, man, even the animators knew that this episode was stupid. They had to put some emotional connection to at least one character of the episodes.
That you absolutely cared about?
Yeah, so they added this hermit crab character so you could feel bad about it falling off the side of the ship.
It was returning to the water.
Meanwhile, we catch up with Buggy's crew,
who are mourning his death as if he was their own child.
You then have,
but not for very long, it seems.
You basically then have the two vice captains basically fighting over who gets it.
This is why you should never have two vice captains.
It ends with the night, the day coming and going, and in the middle of the night, they're just still fighting each other as Richie just comes up and just clobbers them. This takes 7 minutes of the episode.
The knife and the unicycle didn't want to be in the episode, so they broke on contact with each other.
I like my notes in order. I already wasn't paying attention. I already don't care. I got distracted watching the new Pokemon trailer, so I got up halfway through the Catch More Pokemon on Go since they're compatible. I wonder if Eevee will be allowed to evolve and still have the costume options on them. It turns out that it can't because Eevee does not evolve. That lobster looks pretty good. I wish I liked seafood more. Oh, there's an owl in the background.
You know,
those are my first few
would have
notes,
been something
and that's
similar.
To the middle point of the episode.
My notes would have been something similar if I hadn't watched them yesterday before the Pokemon trailer came out. Which, can we talk about the Pokemon trailer instead?
It's pretty good. I kind of like it, but we do have to go on to these episodes because the faster we get through these episodes, the more time we have to talk about
the actual good stuff that happened in the last 3 episodes.
Long story short, they almost got eaten by the indigenous people.
I have it in my notes. I began making a joke about how they were cannibals, and they actually turned out to be cannibals. I'm like, wait a second, no, don't do this.
Because you were reading the cover, you remember the cover stories.
No, I don't. I didn't pay attention to the cover stories because they were Buggy cover stories. The only cover story in the set I liked was the Captain Richie cover story. I
like the really cute bird with the fork and the knife that tries to eat him on a well-decorated plate.
And then finds out that he tastes bad for reasons we will discuss in 5 years. Why would Buggy taste bad? Besides the fact that he's human.
So, if I didn't give Stone to anything in this season, it had to be episode 47. Mostly because
episode 46,
it may just be because I got really distracted by something else, but nothing in the episode drew me back towards it like in other episodes.
At least I could.
There were certain episodes, like
notes.
Halfway through the Arlong Park arc, I actually got distracted doing something else, but I stopped instantly when something happened in the episode because I wasn't distracted. I went through all the way through to the halfway point of the episode before I even took an actual note that was about the episode.
Here's what I think about...
Buggy shows up with his cannon. He gets all of his body parts. He shoots them. He introduces them to the mysterious woman that they still haven't given the name of. Because that would be a spoiler. Mm-hmm. And they basically just sail off. And it's like... And the Straw Hat crew goes, I'm gonna do these filler episodes on this island. You do that.
Yeah, so my problem with these 2 episodes in particular is that they try and give gravitas to something that's a throwaway comedy bit. Like, they try and give weight to Buggy sailing off from Gaiman's island. And they try and, like, make us think that we care about that or about him reassembling his body parts when we so don't care. When no one cares. Even the characters don't care.
They didn't even include Gaiman in the episode recap.
No, they did.
Not really.
He got, like, 1 shot, and then they moved on because he was pointless.
But here's where we start getting into really good parts.
Oh,
Episode 48.
Realized I didn't care so much. I stopped writing notes halfway through a sentence and just stared at the screen and went back to go take notes. That's how much I didn't like these episodes. Now we can go on.
So they reach the island. Oh, new intro.
Oh, yeah.
So opening 2 is very Eurobeat. And Eurobeat was
amazing,
a style in anime around the time when it was first coming, when One Piece was first coming out, because prominently, I want to say Initial D was out at this time, but I think that was the Initial D was
earlier?
A lot earlier than it.
I was thinking it was a lot earlier than that.
When people think of Eurobeat music, they instantly think of Deja Vu, or Running in the 90s, or my personal favorite, Don't Stand, which is such a great remix of that Police song, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like what?
Every once in a while, there's a remix.
This sounds nothing like it. How is it this good?
Okay, so it's called Believe in Wonderland is the name of the new album.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's
It was really good.
It shows off every character's skills, backstory, and a little clip of showing events that they've been through so far.
And it mostly does it in a way that makes the characters feel intertwined in each other, because it does it chronologically,
Yeah.
but it makes it feel like the characters are intertwined because they're on top of everybody else's characters from their backstories.
And it does kind of feel a little like it's supposed to be a recap of, hey, this is what happened in the year that we've gone on, because we actually had episode 50 so far, and accounting for forced breaks by Japanese TV, this would be the 1 year mark of them doing the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they have to take off certain days for holidays. They have to, they have to release the pilot and then the first episode. So yeah, it would be essentially 1 year since One Piece became an anime.
Oh, so I have in this is that the opening also includes villains from the upcoming Alabasta arc as well, and characters from it, but it's at the end. And
almost like a teasing of this is in the future, since they were showing so much of the past.
In it is that I have in my last notes when they finally reach a log town. It's like, finally! In like the style of Gur, right before he explodes.
And to basically sum up a lot of this episode, Nami goes clothes shopping, Sanji goes window gazing.
You mean woman gazing, right?
Yeah. Usopp gets suckered into buying from a greasy pawn shop.
Several greasy pawn shops, in fact.
Zoro has a very small amount of money, so he can go out and get 2 swords, which already sounds like it's a lost. But it
really says how much this money is worth, though.
Intercut between all of these shenanigans going on
is Luffy without a chaperone being spotted by the cops. He should have taken someone with him.
We also get introduced to probably one of the coolest characters of the series, Captain Smoker.
Smoker. He's my second favorite character in this whole show.
Yeah.
He's my favorite Marine.
He literally gets introduced with a window opening up to his room as
and
he's
she was
smoking
trying to
two
stack
soups.
stones on top of each other. It's like, you knocked over my stones, man!
As he's smoking two Cuban cigars at once, and his jacket is covered with them like they're
tusks.
shotgun shells, like a bandolier. And it's like
they look like tusks emanating from his mouth. And for someone who doesn't have an animal style devil fruit, it's pretty cool.
But then you get to the point where
like the dub
you get introduced,
didn't mess this scene up.
You
it
get
was so
to
good.
Like you kind of get the fact of like, oh, this guy's gonna be the villain of it. And I was like,
he's gonna be the big bad, like every other Marine we've seen.
A little kid, not realizing where she's going,
She's like
runs
4.
headlong into Smoker, and everyone kind of pauses as the dad is kind of like apologizing, and the military is like trying to tell Smoker something. As Smoker leans down, gives her a bunch of gold, going, "I'm sorry, little girl. My pants ate your ice cream. Buy some extra scoops." And it's like, oh my gosh.
Realize that Kobe's dream has a hope. Because apart from Kobe, every other Marine we've seen has been a yes man or a scumbag. And it's so refreshing to see Smoker and have hope that this is who Kobe could be one day. Kobe has, his dream has merit. He's not just chasing a fantasy.
This is one of my favorite parts of Oda's writing. This could have been the stereotypical, I follow the rules, you must go. But
I'm lawful douchebag.
Yeah, he's a lawful douchebag. And then it's like, out of nowhere, you see this really, really nice and caring side of him. Just randomly, as you kind of get a whiplash from, how am I supposed to feel about this character? Slam cut into some random douchebag, the Crescent, I think his name was. Who,
did he even have a name?
Yeah, he had a name. I didn't write it down because I didn't want to stop the episode to write it down.
Yeah, it was so, like, this episode was great.
In
like,
which Smoker basically blows more smoke out of his mouth. It basically covers the battlefield, and then they're just all wrapped up, and you're like, I'm gonna just throw out a guess there that maybe his devil fruit has something to do with the smoke that he does, and that's why he has so many cigars.
It also explains why he can still be alive.
You'll notice that there are that every single devil fruit user has a vice.
Mm-hmm. That they have something that keeps their body ticking, that keeps
Luffy's
the clock and the
vice
gears going.
Is definitely meat.
He has
to eat. He has to
and
regain some of the energy so he can stretch.
Who's a glutton either? We see other devil fruit users.
A lot of devil fruit users are gluttons.
Massive amounts of food. Like, I completely forgot. I had it in my lap.
Smoker's addiction is literally the cigarettes. He needs to inhale all the smoke to replenish the stuff that he's lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
I got this. It's for season 7, but if you know what happens in episode 396, this is a good episode. I was like bated breath because we have a used movie store that I get all of my gaming consoles and I get all of my movies from.
My nose is still running.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to catch it for you?
No, that's okay. I found it.
Yay! You found it, guys. Day is safe. But
so
back to
Luffy shows up on the dock.
After
to basically make a long story short, Smoker is going out to the dock because he heard that Monkey D. Luffy, one of the highest bounty
highest bounty person
in East Blue, showed up.
Like under cover of night.
Which makes me suspect that they are in fact in the Calm Belt when they go over the Shanks, because clearly Shanks and Mihawk would have had a higher bounty than him.
I don't think that they knew that they were still in the East Blue, if they were even in the East Blue.
Well, then again, it is kind of Shanks' thing
Mihawk
to
can
just
go where-
randomly appear places, so it's kind of hard to nail him down.
Yeah.
Or
for him
so
to nail
Luffy
himself
shows
down,
up.
he's always drunk.
Smoker had not seen his wanted poster. He just heard a pirate
Which
named
Luffy-
Monkey D. Luffy, who has the highest bounty, showed up.
Who we get the impression that other people have been impersonating him, making it hard.
No, it's not just that. Smoker takes out the crescent as
He knows
a guy
it's
comes
not
up and goes, I was like, "Sir," and it's like, "Well, this isn't Monkey D. Luffy. I already know that." What do you mean? If this guy's 30 million bounty, 30 million berry, the world's ending. You're like, this guy's far too weak. He then immediately runs into Luffy, who is so unassuming that Smoker
But
just
he
goes,
knows.
Yeah,
he
that's-
knows something's up.
and
Like
he
he
starts
looks at him
running off as he goes,
because he
"Something
follows
about
the
that
smoke.
kid." Yeah.
And it's very clear that Smoker was probably directing him somewhere to test and see if he was.
Where I believe that he was actually leading him to Gold Roger's bar.
To see what he would do.
Um,
I think he was
to-
tailing him.
To
The
go
whole
to
time.
Zoro for a second.
Oh yeah,
Zoro
Zoro.
is looking for
Zoro
his new
was in
sword.
this episode.
And he runs into a
Velma.
a swordswoman
He runs
who
into
her whole
Velma.
thing is that she keeps losing her glasses.
Where are my glasses? I can't find my glasses. I can't be seen without
I
my
love
glasses.
Tashigi in the Pirate Warriors
You mean
game.
you mean Kuino, right?
Yeah, she does look a lot like Kurena, which we get to because Zoro is now immediately like weirded out. That is like, huh?
Crunch.
So her big the big thing is that if you press the options button, they usually get ready by like Zoro's thing is that he takes his bandana and like ties it in his back, so it's like he gets powered up. Luffy's is that he actually puts his hat back on. Tashigi's is interesting. Tashigi goes and puts her glasses back on, and now you realize, whoa, the world was blurry for like a long period of time because she really can't see without her glasses.
Yeah.
And
she's a klutz.
Zoro goes, man, this swordswoman is pretty good. Picks up her glasses to give it to her. And the second he sees her face, he thinks it's Kurena. And he crushes the glasses in his hand and goes, ow.
You're paying me back for those!
I'm sorry. To get back to Gold Roger's bar that has creepy Gregorian chanting outside of it for some reason.
I wasn't the only one who heard like the church choir music, right?
Luffy goes down into the bar, in which
Called
he meets
Bar Gold Roger with the O with an X over it, like the operator.
The bartender basically goes, "Oh, we're shutting down, and so this was my last day up." And I go, "Isn't that a coincidence?"
The one person who could keep this place going shows up on the last day because Luffy can't help but save people.
The moment that the bartender starts talking about Gold Roger
You
and
know he
his
knew
things,
him personally.
a smile just goes onto my face where it's like, even though he's talking about tragic things and like the death of one of his friends, one of his personal friends, Gold Roger, he is just so telling him of like, this is why you should be excited. He was such a great guy. And Luffy is like,
for writing
yes.
it down. It's the anniversary of Gold Roger's death.
That is also such a weird coincidence that this happened.
Luffy was brought by the Fates to be there on that day.
I would like to believe that Fate loves Luffy.
Oh, Fate adores Luffy.
Now,
Are you
you
kidding?
could just say, oh, Luffy got lost and came here. But then you could say, what if Smoker wanted to see what he was up to and sent him down here to see what he would do?
And was tailing him.
Yeah.
And then
because he then shows up at the bar after he's lost and he looks at the glass of milk that was put down on the counter.
Wasn't it sake?
No, it was milk because he said, I don't drink. And he goes, fine, I'll just pour you some condensed milk.
So, you skipped one of a really good cinematic shot, though. The shot where the barkeeper, looks up and he sees Roger standing there.
The first of many people to see Gold Roger in Luffy.
Here's what I think, and it's not validated. Luffy has some kind of otherworldly connection to Roger. Like, he can't be the reincarnation of Roger. Because there's 22 years between their birth. Like, but between Roger's death and Luffy's birth.
Yeah, because
so it can't be reincarnation.
Because
but it could be familial.
In Hindu reincarnation, it's basically if someone is born on the day that someone dies, usually it's seen as a sign that they are, especially if it's a family member, it's a sign that they are reincarnated back into the family.
So he can't be like the actual reincarnation of Roger, but there has to be some other connection between the two.
Yeah.
And when we get on, we'll probably talk about this more. Because this is not the only time Luffy will be strongly connected back to Roger. In more than just, I have a dream to be king of the pirates kind of way.
So, Smoker lays down like a big plot scene where it's Smoker as a young kid is watching the execution of Gold Roger. And even though the scene is no longer in the intro, which they keep going back to every once in a while, we're like, no, we need to keep Gold Roger's execution and famous line in the opening, and they keep trying to come back to this.
And then they eventually eventually fade away from that as
Gold Roger is walking up to his execution and he goes, "I'm not gonna run away. You could just take off the shackles. I'm here to die." So it's like, because there's no way I could run away from this.
Which at this point, it seems like he's actually pulling to get free. But he's there to die.
Yeah.
He's had a good run. And it's over.
But a person in the crowd yells at him, "Where did you put it? The One Piece." Used as a proper noun.
As if it is a physical, tangible
It's not
object.
just, oh, I just have all my gold, I put it into one place and I just put it off. I honestly think One Piece is the name of his ship. It's the name of a legendary ship that he found in the Grand Line that he could just do anything with. My idea is that One Piece is essentially a Spelljammer ship that can go anywhere on the planet.
Which would explain why
it would
explain character in particular is able to get anywhere they want.
It's so priceless, it becomes his treasure. He now becomes...
But he also has tons of gold and
Yeah, but we also know that he has tons of gold as well.
And information.
And I want to say that is my theory of what it personally is. But, a lot of people have... It's the name of, essentially, the Zoan fruit god tree that he has sitting there. It's the name... it's basically a metaphor for the friends we got on the way over. Which Oda said, no, that's stupid and I'm not doing that.
I'm looking at you, Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
It's like, you knew he was talking about Fairy Tail.
Oh no, I exploded.
You knew he was talking, he was talking about Fairy Tail when he was doing that.
But the thing with the One Piece that makes you instantly really interesting is that even the guards were instantly scared that someone brought it up as Gold Roger starts saying it, and they go, "Execution now!" and they basically
obviously
just kill
stop him before he can give any extra details.
It's almost like they know where it is and they don't want people to find it.
I don't think they know the approximate location, but they can't find it.
And the final scene
otherwise they would have dug it all up by now.
The final scene of the background, all in white, with just him in black,
as red.
And you see his smile as the only thing, any piece of detail on him, as the music just swells up, which
and the crowd
I would like to
cheers.
think is kind of a theme for the will of Roger being passed on to this generation.
Yeah, because we can't call it anything specific right now, and it's just.
Because they have not actually explained why Gold Roger was so feared by the government.
But they have called it inherited will. Meaning that Luffy has probably inherited Roger's will. Just by being
Roger's will to live and stuff. He died with a smile on his face because, as they say in the manga, he did not fear death.
I think death feared him. That's why it took so long for anyone to bring him in.
Luffy is now at the execution site, and
got his foot
Smoker now sees
You're
for the
under
first.
arrest!
That he now for the first time sees Luffy, and the first thing he says is, "He's the one with the straw hat."
Because he knew something was up with Luffy. He just didn't have any grounds to convict him, which is what I love about Smoker, is that he doesn't hold Luffy up just because he's suspicious of him. He actually waits until he has probable cause, which gives Smoker
like climbing on top of the execution tower, which is technically trespassing, and now he can arrest him.
Well, he could arrest him as well for the 30 million berry bounty as well.
Episode 49. The name of the episode basically says it all. It's
Katetsu the Third.
No, Kaitsu the Third, and Yubashiri.
Also,
they just say two names, and if you're not paying attention,
and now we're back on track with the
or
manga.
don't really know that much about Japanese, you could instantly go, what does that mean? Anyone that knows Japanese knows these are his swords. These are Zoro's swords that he gets. So we get into Zoro's episode, in which we cut back to Luffy. He falls down from the tower because
Luffy's
his legs
blasting
get caught.
off again.
And
then
Luffy
takes a
tries to hit Smoker, but his immense strength is just basically playing yo-yo with him as he's like flying up and then coming back and flying up and coming back.
You're under arrest.
So because of an impromptu attack, Luffy gets shot out across the city.
And something I also, and he lands and then takes a dirt nap. But something I really like about this episode is how the mysterious woman, basically Clark Kent's Sanji, she basically like Clark Kent. And he's like, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. He turns, looks back, and she's wearing like these red square glasses, and he's like, could have swore I saw her somewhere around here.
They were.
No one said he was the bride. No one.
They
said
were
he was
sunglasses.
The
It's
guy.
hard to see her beautiful eyes behind them. In the meanwhile, Buggy is actually meeting with the barkeeper, who is having an actual like spirited conversation because, we alluded to it, but Buggy used to be part of Gold Rider's crew. He knows Buggy. So it is actually kind of funny, this little foreshadowing of like
that information that
where it's like,
reading.
and I was like, Buggy, what the heck are you doing here? And he
almost like he's disappointed in him.
You see Buggy's
tarot card deck.
No, it's his playing card deck that he's like using as a tarot card deck, and you see the Joker card which has his face on it, and you go, is this like custom made card deck with his logo and face on it?
Probably. He's super like self-inflated. It wouldn't surprise me if he commissioned for his own card deck to be made.
Luffy finally hits the ground as he just goes to sleep. Meanwhile, back with Zoro, he's forced to clean up the Marine's base for money because he doesn't have money to pay for her glasses, and he has to pay it off somehow. So he goes triple brush style, cleaning the ground.
He probably got the whole hallway clean, knowing Zoro. He's an overachiever.
Yeah, and then two guards come up going, "Hey, I knew that was Rona Zoro. You're coming with us."
Oh no!
He knocks them out with his brooms and just runs away with the little money he
gave like 200 million.
No, he only had 200,000. He only had 200,000.
He had 300,000.
He had 300,000 on him, and he gave 100,000 to her.
100% interest, she said.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
Meanwhile, we cut back over to Zoro after Tashigi basically happens upon the two knocked up guards and a pile of money, going, "Here, buy some new glasses. I'm out of here." And she goes, "Oh, he must have been attacked by some nefarious means." I was like, "Oh, Tashigi, you're too innocent."
She's not too bright. Well, no, she always expects the best from people until she's been proven otherwise.
Meanwhile,
she's such a Velma.
Zoro goes to a discount sword store in which he goes, "Hey, look, I only have like 10,000. I only have like enough for like
100,000.
I barely have enough for 2 swords. Can you give them to me?" "Yeah, sure." Go to that bargain bin over there and grabs 2 swords.
But before the bargain bin part...
Oh, right.
This store owner, I'd say that he's comical and stereotyped, but I've physically seen store vendors like him before in areas that are not in America, I'll say, where haggling is more normal.
You see, yeah, and he tries to haggle of like, hey, I could essentially give you 2 of any swords you want in this entire store, but you have to sell me your white sword. And he goes,
it's not
no,
for sale.
It's not for sale. And so he keeps jacking up the price. And then Tashigi comes up.
It gets to like 800,000.
He eventually says like 2 billion. 2 million.
2 million?
2 million berry. And it's like, and Tashigi shows up going, here's your money back. I don't want you to give me your money. But you should know that there was a nefarious person that like broke in. So it's nice to see you safe. As you can almost feel like Zoro face palming in his head.
Yeah, he goes.
And she pulls out her little book
of swords.
Of Wano made swords. And
well, that name
and
isn't
she says, okay, Wado Ichimonji, the first of 21 of these legendary swords that are well over 10 million berry. As Zoro basically just keeps muttering to himself, Wado.
Almost like he's heard that name before in whispers at the dojo, probably.
To put this into perspective...
He overheard them scrubbing the floors of the dojo.
To put this into perspective, we're only now, over 20 years... Is it 20 years?
Yeah.
20 years into the manga, we're finally actually going to the place where Zoro's swords are made. Like, which we know we're going to meet a bunch of...
Oda has wanted to do this island in the Grand Line.
He basically wrote the outline for what was going to happen as he was writing this scene. Like, he was basically like, they're going to come to this island, they're going to fight a big bad guy, but it's mostly going to show off swordsmanship.
But it wasn't until Alabasta that the series became so gargantuanly long, because he got ideas. And like any great writer, when you have an idea, you run with it, and
you could really tell that you can really tell that Skypiea, he was like, I'm gonna just keep spinning my wheels until I come up with a better plot.
Well, he made Skypiea probably to catch himself up on story writing.
Basically the store owner is a little upset with Tashigi, basically just dropping it, going, hey, I don't care how much money there are, just grab 2 swords from the bargain bin and I'll take all your money. He's like, sure. So he starts rummaging through the swords, and his hand went to one blade in particular, and just pulled it up, almost as if
it was calling to him with a boom tube all the way up. He was like, hey, swordmaster, I got a great idea. Let's go killing.
As basically the sword goes, no, not that sword. And I was like, I put that into the bargain bin, so I just don't look at it. As he goes, yeah, it's cursed, right? And Tashigi's like, huh? I was
the store owner back against his sweats like, so you know what that sword is capable of.
Because it's calling out to him.
As Zoro's smile gets wider, and she starts looking at it, because you know it's talking to him.
Tashigi pulls out her book again, as she refers to it as Kaitsu the Third, the latest module of one of the highest rated original blades.
3 of them.
There's 3 of these swords, and this one's known as the bloodthirsty, as like the most bloodthirsty blade that has ever been made.
Because it kills its wielders.
Yeah,
and Zoro,
and so it goes, the sword basically augments your
bravado.
fate to make it so that you always end up in the worst situations, the most precarious fights, and the most uneven defeats that you will ever, like, surface. And he goes, sure, I'll take it. Unsheaths the sword to look at it, tosses it up into the air. He tosses it up into the air and sticks his arm out like right under it. As everyone just like holds their breath, is like, what are you doing? As the sword like is about to hit him, but then slows down and like corrects itself to like go around his arm, and as it like sinks into the floor almost all the way to the hilt.
Until it's like an inch to the hilt.
And he goes, I'll take it. As he goes,
he says, I like it. I'll take it.
In this battle of wills, he actually overcame the sword's lust for blood, because the sword knows this guy's going to the Grand Line. I'm going with him. This will be fun.
Because you know that sword probably talks to Zoro, like incessantly, like wanting more blood. Because there's a scene that comes up where the sword seems to have a mind of its own without having the means to move.
Yep.
It just wants to cut things. It just wants to do destruction and damage.
It's like, bad sword. I didn't mean to cut that hard.
It's like, bad! You do what I tell you to! Almost like it's like a living child. It's like,
the shopkeeper goes, wait, and he comes, and he leaves and comes back with his family heirloom known as Yabashiri, the Rio Wazamono. And he basically goes, this is basically not as legendary of a sword, but you can have this too. It's the most.
It's for free.
All of these swords are for free. Go ahead.
Money, it's for
you
free.
are a true swordsman, and I'm sorry for trying to swindle you. As he goes, sweet. So now he has a white, a black, and a red sword basically just hanging off of him. Going
100,000 berry.
And he kept all of his money because Tashigi gave him back his 10,000 he had. So
20,000, 200,000.
No, he gave 10,000 and he had 20,000 on him.
You keep talking.
So he starts walking off, and honestly, like, I like it when all of his swords are different colors because now they're distinct. It's not just, oh, he has 2 black swords and 1 white sword. You now in your mind go, that's the legendary sword he got from Corinna. The red one is the bloodthirsty one that keeps putting him into precarious situations, and the black one is the family heirloom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're really good swords.
And you then basically hear from the shopkeeper, swords choose their owners, and these swords want to be with you. As he basically goes off, as he basically tells his wife, who's not berating him for just giving away swords for free, but like going, hey, you usually jack up prices for swords, like what's up with that? And he goes, dreams are important, and he's going with mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, we're gonna just throw that onto the list of, hey, dreams are important. Luffy basically wakes up from his nap, gets directions from a masked Buggy, and he goes off towards the execution
That's
site.
amazing that they're like tilting at the same time and they're like just out of each other's sight. It's like, where's the execution platform? And Buggy turns, he's like, it's over there. Okay, thanks, man. And he just walks off, and Buggy's like, oh
no! What I really like though is that if you noticed, Richie was disguised as a motorcycle.
I didn't care about them enough to see it.
They braided his hair into like handlebars, and he's like riding on top, and I'm like, why? Why do you do this? Smoker in the meanwhile, basically berates Tashigi for leaving her post, and then basically goes, I'm gonna wait right here until I get word that he's back at the execution site.
Which is actually really smart because he knows he'll turn up there eventually.
Let's talk about episode 50.
Okay.
One of the first truly...
You are right that in total, she loaned him about 100,000. Berry.
100,000?
Yeah, I have it straight from Naomi's mouth.
Huh.
So both of us are wrong at the same time. But you are very right that he didn't give her more than that.
He also didn't want to give her. He also didn't want to take more money from her because he knew that she would jack up the interest rate.
Which she did. I don't think he ever pays her back.
So
for that
episode
money,
50 literally starts out with.
Episode 50.
I could okay. I wrote in my notes. I love this episode so much. I could do this from memory. I'm not gonna look at my notes and just look at you.
Okay.
Daddy the parent shows up as he is as he is basically giving money, basically giving people that have a bounty, so he can basically go pay his rent or stuff. Meanwhile, we catch up with Usopp, who is trying to buy these pair of goggles from the...
Which we will talk about those goggles at the
Yeah.
end of the episode. Because
Meanwhile,
goggles have history.
a girl shows up as he's reaching for his money and buys it in front of him. As he's like, hey, you can't do that. As she basically walks up to him and goes, get out of my way, old man. As he makes the best noise in history in the entire like string of episodes from him. In which he goes, because it like leans back, and it's like the best noise ever.
It's just such an Usopp noise to make too.
Usopp, to try to like show, hey, don't take things from me, I'm a powerful pirate. He basically boasting that he took on Arlong and he's got like a 30 million berry bounty on him. As she basically walks over to her dad, which is standing right there, going, hey, bounty hunter guy, here's your birthday present. That mean pirate guy with a large bounty tried to take it from you. As it's like, I already hate this girl. And so, Daddy the parent, as he's
she
called,
loves her dad.
Challenges him to a duel.
It's like Mr. the Sir.
Challenges him to a duel, as Nami basically comes up like, oh, a duel? This looks interesting. Sees Usopp. Oh no, what is he doing?
she like goes, Daddy the parent? Who would be dumb enough to challenge him to a duel? Oh, that idiot. It's like, it's one of yours, Nami.
Basically, Usopp, because he gets a little too scared, throws out a smoke bomb to like to run.
Away.
As Daddy shoots the gun out of his hand, completely invisible to him. As he goes, I would have been defeated anyway. As the crowd basically is first going, this was this was really bad. And again, the entire reason why Daddy is even remotely even caring about Usopp is because the back of Usopp's head is on Luffy's wanted poster, meaning that he was there at the site when this happened. So, even if he himself does not have a bounty, he is culpable to it, so he could basically get a higher bounty from him. So, if he arrested him, that could be bad.
Yeah. Also, he probably has information about where this Luffy eye even is in the first place.
What I would say, though, is we then get a backstory for... Daddy then hears Usopp's name, and he goes, oh, you're Yasop's son. And he goes, how do you know him? Oh, I lost to a duel to him. We kind of bonded over our shared our parental responsibilities, or, his lack thereof. And and he refused to kill me, and so I basically have a little bit of respect for him. I was like, oh, okay. Day basically puts a gun to his head going, I'm gonna give you one more shot. Okay, what do you want me to do? Well, here is my gun. It was like,
here's a gun.
I was like, no, I don't use guns. I use a slingshot. Okay, use your slingshot
60 of them.
to hit that weather vane basically half a mile away. As he goes, and so he pulls back. Daddy puts the gun to the back of his head as he launches, and he puts a bullseye through the jewel of the crown. As basically they're all just basically staying there, basically looking at it, going. It's like Usopp, you might actually be the best sniper of the entire series. And he goes, yeah. And so
he comes from good stock.
And so
it wouldn't be surprising if he is
little
the best.
brat girl, because I didn't Caroline. Caroline.
You don't say you shouldn't say that to people. It's mean. It's like, oh, this little brat.
She basically gives him the goggles, going, you deserve this a little bit, even though you're kind of a despicable person, as they basically just ride off into the sunset. We basically end the episode there with a teaser for Sanji's episode, but I need to talk about this episode.
Yeah.
If this wasn't filler, this would have been my platinum of the series. of the
it
season.
feels like it belongs with
But
the
because,
series.
1, it's filler. 2, it is kind of slower than most episodes.
It also bogged down the pacing.
And 3,
Of
I
love.
care a lot more about Sanji than I care about Usopp. That's how good this episode is. I would rather
Kamo
put
might
this...
have given it out of platinum.
Maybe. But this episode is slightly above, to me, Sanji's episode. But because Sanji's episode has such gravitational weight to his entire arc, I gave it to that one. Also because this episode is non-canon to the manga,
But it feels like
so
it should be, though.
feels like me giving that episode, it to an episode that's, technically filler. It feels really, really bad.
And I will give you full points on being able to break down the entire episode with me barely saying a thing. So something I want to say about this episode, it's a really good episode. It also, it feels like it belongs. Like,
Well,
I'm
then again,
surprised
the,
it's not in the,
Well, the Lotown episodes were written by Oda, unlike a lot of the other ones, especially the Reverse Mountain
oh yeah, I was
a filler
looking at
arc
that.
that's going to be coming up. A lot of the episodes just aren't written by Oda, but these are actually canon to the events,
Yeah.
showing how they got certain things, because Usopp just shows up with his goggles, Sanji shows up with the elephant tuna. It's got a snout and everything. Zoro shows up with his swords, but we do actually see that in the manga.
Nami doesn't seem to show up with anything, although it's to be assumed she got something in town.
But all of the episodes are actually written by Oda, and so he says that they are technically canon, which is a really great way for a manga writer.
Even the Buggy ones?
Well, yeah, they're the cover stories. They are canon to what goes on. Think about that, Stacy. Richie's daydream of him becoming captain.
You mean his
taking,
fever dream, right?
and taking on a
what did I write in that? I wrote it was a fever dream, and I wrote something
you
else.
wrote, "Oh, what fresh hell is this?"
I stopped the episode, came upstairs to talk to him because
So,
I had to watch it in between work, and I wrote, "What fresh hell is this that I am
Besides
watching?"
episode 47, which is my stone for the arc, these are gold episodes. Like I would actually say the 3 episodes in Lotown overwrite the 2 Buggy episodes so much that even though there was a stone and a potential platinum episode in the midst,
Yeah,
they basically counterbalance it, leaving it a gold.
yeah.
Like, I
Because you
halfway
forget
through
them. Your brain
the
deletes their
barkeeper,
existence.
the bartender, telling stories
Right
of Gold
when-
Roger, I completely forgot anything that happened before that moment.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, this is so good. It was like, these are gold episodes.
Yeah.
Like, that's how
The
good
whole-
these scenes were.
The whole set
You
of
have-
episodes turned around the instant that Smoker and Luffy met for the first time.
Yeah.
Because
You
these
get the
two are
introduction
locked
of
into
Smoker.
fate
You
together.
have the slight idea that Gold Roger and Luffy are somehow cosmically tied together. You have stories of him. You have
people trying to impersonate Luffy, which is interesting.
he was
That's
not impersonating Luffy. He was just a pirate that showed up, and
Well, he said he was Luffy.
no, he didn't.
I remember
He's
him
like-
saying he was Luffy.
He didn't actually deny or confirm that he was in fact Luffy. Smoker just assumed because he goes, "Oh, intimidating looking pirate at the port. This must be Luffy. You're coming with me, Monkey D. Luffy." What? And they beats him up. So no, he did not impersonate Luffy.
Yeah.
But
This and
you then have scenes, the scene with Zoro in which he basically does a
test of might.
test of will. You have the scene with Usopp where he shoots through the weather vane. You have the backstory of Yasop in which, he actually looks like a better guy than he actually is in the manga. All of these happen,
You mean
and they
bad dad?
counterbalance whatever the heck was going on in the Buggy episodes, which was literally there just to fill time.
Yeah.
Technically,
They were there
these
to waste
episodes were
time.
also there to fill time,
But it was a good fill of time.
Yeah.
It wasn't it seems to be straight up Summerween candy, and it became like an orange chocolate, like a chocolate orange. Like, that's the difference between the first 2 episodes being bargain bin candy and the last 3 being a chocolate orange, each of them.
Yeah. Verdict for the episodes, I give it a gold. I will understand if you give these 5 episodes a silver, but...
Thinking back, I give... Because all 3 of these episodes, for me, lean towards the gold. They are right on that line where, depending how I feel in the moment, I can call them extremely high silvers or standard golds. The last 2 episodes were low bargain tier bronze.
You mean the first one?
Yeah, the first 2.
Because I'm like, really? You give the Zora episode a bronze, really?
Don't make me fight you.
Well, here's how I put it. If I were to put platinum episodes as gold and stone episodes as bronze in it, you have 2 bronze episodes and you have 3 gold episodes, and so the 2 gold episodes basically counterbalance those, making them essentially silver.
But it's
and then you have the gold
as
episodes
a-
left to basically
Bump it up.
to bump it up. That's how I would explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, those 2 episodes were completely inconsequential to whatever happened in the 3 episodes,
We'll
and
never
the
hear
3
about it again.
episodes could counterbalance it so hard
Also,
that now
this
becomes
is not the only Buggy side quest arc we'll see. It's why I put in it.
There was an
Buggy
entire
side
episode in
quest
which
arc
Buggy tries to revive a transponder snail so he can get a message out, and they do that for 30 minutes, and it's dumb. And it's not even canon.
But so, do we want to talk about the goggles now?
Yes.
High, blind, non-spoilers.
These come from the North Blue. And we're
gonna
know
learn
2 things.
about the
We
North.
know 2 things about the North Blue. The goggles are from there, and Sanji is from there. That is it. That is all we really know. I was like, hey Sanji, how'd you get here from the North Blue? Traveling. Okay. And that's all we really get
And we're gonna
from
learn
Sanji
things
for years. And you go, and nowadays, when we actually see North Blue technology, like all over the place in the Grand Line, and
it's
beyond
the
that,
high-grade
you're
stuff.
like,
It's
huh.
like
And
cutting-edge technology.
now that we've actually seen North Blue technology at work, you go, I could see where that technology has come from, and I know how it probably got here.
Because it got in the East Blue at probably the same time Sanji got to the East Blue. Probably on the same ship.
Who knows?
Funny that.
There is, like, a lot of East Blue technology looks the same. Like, you'll notice that
It's very...
when it comes to East Blue, a lot
How to
of their
put this?
technology and stuff
like Dragon
looks
Ball
like
Z-ish.
looks like old
Or-
world, like Japanese tech. When you get into the Grand Line, you start seeing the other places start doing it, where it's like South Blue is a lot of American looking stuff, while West Blue is a lot of Russian looking stuff, and North Blue is a lot of German looking stuff. As you're like, okay, I can basically see where a lot of the inspiration comes from, and a lot of the North Blue tech, which when you basically
Which we're
look
going
at
to learn about where that...
is
the
designed
function
to
of that
look
tech.
the same and uniform for a good reason. And when you basically go over it and you're like, North Blue, we only really know 2 things about it. You basically have to sit down and you go,
But it gives a lot
I
of
wonder if this
information.
will come back. Because besides, like, they're in the East Blue, and you know that there was a South and a West Blue, we basically know nothing about any of the other seas. Except for we know 2 things that come from the North Blue.
And they're important things, because they're in the Straw Hat's possession.
I forget, does he actually modify the goggles to actually go into the mask that
I think so.
uses later?
I think so.
Because it looks like the
Because
same
it's part
eyes.
of a headgear thing.
Yeah.
And they're very good goggles. They're probably the only worthwhile thing in that whole junk shop. Showing that you find interesting stuff in pawn shops. You find stuff other people don't want, but that you really could need. Like, I have found more worthwhile things in movie pawn shops than I think any other person in our family. Because I get my entire film collection from discount movie stores.
I will say though that when it comes down to it, I love these episodes, but the Buggy episodes are annoying to watch.
Oh, they weigh down the other 3 episodes.
Like,
but at the same time, they raise them up because you're so sick and tired of Buggy. You would take grass growing, because at least grass growing has the chance of seeing bugs of seeing actual insects in it.
That's all I basically have to say. Any final thoughts on the episodes that are either coming up or the ones we just watched?
I'm trying to see if there's anything else in the Daddy Masters episode. That Smoker and Masterson seem to be on a first name basis with each other.
Yeah.
They're very familiar, which shows that
his daughter refers her as the Smoky Man.
The old Smoky guy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because he used to be an ensign in the Marines.
Both of them.
They were probably in the same unit with
Yeah.
a few other people. We'll see. Maybe Tashigi.
It feels interesting that it's like, hey, all of these pirates that we know were in the same group with each other. All of these military guys were in the same group with each other, and it's like, I wonder if this is fate or just really interesting coincidences.
Well, people tend to congregate.
But here's the thing: in One Piece, coincidences don't happen.
It's the fates, really, is what you can call it. Like the Greeks called it the fates, and I would agree.
A lot of people call it plot contrivance, but hey.
Well, that stuff.
I also call it Oda wanted to put the plot this way, and so this is the best way of doing it. Oh, look, this ties in with other things.
And it would make sense that characters who are already familiar with each other would work together.
Yeah, so...
And that's why they all get raised up together, because the instant that someone goes higher up, they're more likely to reach down to one of their friends that they trust and pull them up with them.
I'm just really tired right now, I guess. We should actually probably end this before you have to run off to work again.
What time is it? Yeah, I got
Yeah, so...
10 minutes.
So, bye everyone.
Bye.